can we agree that freedoms are more important than issues? I think this is where our problem comes in. I think it's because half of us realize what we are fighting for right now is our freedoms, and the other half still thinks we're fighting about issues. I heard a quote this morning that so much applies to what I'm trying to talk about and share. It says, in our world today, truth is increasingly and adamantly censored. We're in a battle for truth, and many seek to suppress or obscure it. I spent the morning typing up some information that I really want to share with anybody who's trying to figure out, like, what in the world is going on, or I'm not sure if what I'm hearing is accurate, or how do I wade through all this information. So I'm posting on my website. Please go take a look at it. If you are not confident 100% in the way you're going to vote in this election, please go take a look at it. Post it on my website. handmadequithlove.com/take-a-stand. Right at the top, says start here. And I have gone through my whole process of, like, when I started being like, what's going on in this world? And I don't really got to believe this information, but I don't really know what else. Anyway, I went through the whole thing from, like, several years ago to now, and what I firmly believe is happening here. Just go take a look and have an open mind. You don't have to agree with me. I'm trying to share and do my part in standing up for Americans, okay, for our freedom, okay? I'm not talking about immigration, I'm not talking about the wall, I'm not talking about whatever we're fighting about with issues, okay? I'm talking about freedoms, standing up for who we are as a country. So, I said this before, but I believe if we were all looking at the same information, if we could get rid of the noise and the nonsense, I believe 90 or 95 or 99% of us would be voting the same way. Even when we're looking at our options and the candidates, and we're like, well, I don't really want to vote for either one. Okay, despite that, I still believe that. So, okay, we have to stand together. And so we're talking about truth here, okay? So I learned something a few years ago that once I learned this, it made everything make sense to me. It made everything make sense to me. So I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever, can you remember a time in your life when, like, things started to feel good, like things were going well, like maybe, I don't know, maybe you were newly married and life was still a dream, or you graduated high school, or you graduated college, and you started college, or you started your job, and, like, things were great, and then, like, things kind of started to crumble down on you. Or maybe you start to do really well in eating better, or exercising, or drinking more water, whatever, habits to, like, feel better, or having a more positive mindset. You start to do really well, and then, like, something comes out of the blue and just, like, knocks down all of your progress. Why is that? It's just the world we live in? I don't know. I never used to think about these things. I just went with whatever was going on in my life, and I tried to make the most of whatever was going on. And then several years ago, I start to learn about this good versus evil thing. And I honestly feel really dumb saying this, because I told you I've been a Christian nearly my entire life, and I had never heard anybody talk about the spiritual warfare thing. Not in those terms, okay? I knew based on my knowledge, like, Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve. Eve, the woman, I'll take responsibility here, was like, hey, let's eat this fruit we're not allowed to eat, the only fruit we're not allowed to eat. She gives it to her husband and misleads him. And okay, so, like, that's where evil and sin entered the world. Okay, I got that. Nobody ever talked to me about this spiritual warfare thing. And, like, once I started to learn about it, I just started to watch and observe in my life. And I'm like, this is more real than anything I can see with my own eyes. It might be invisible, but it is so real. So my husband, Farmer Matt, and I, he's coming in the combine here. I'm going to have to pay attention here in a minute. And I are both remarried. We've both been divorced. Okay, we've all been through stuff in our lives we wish wouldn't have happened or we're not proud of or whatever. Didn't go the way we wanted it to, right? So starting to build this family, our blended family, this has been true over and over and over again. And at first I didn't see it, and then I learned about it, started observing and paying attention. Like every time we would like start to communicate better, be on the same page with stuff with the kids, or like whatever it is, every time something would come out of nowhere, kind of beyond our control, and like knock our progress back to zero. Like it could be some kind of big issue with a kid or someone else involved in our lives that we're not able to part ways with exactly, who wants to like ruin things and make things worse. Like I just started observing and learning about this, and so when I started looking at the world from this perspective, it all started to make sense. So let's look at our country. Right, the United States of America. We are a republic where the people hold the power. We get to vote. We are the people we vote for are responsible to us. Okay? This type of government did not used to exist. It was a radical invention when the founders of our country started this. And from the beginning, we were founded with a strong faith in God. And many have used the phrase that we're a city on a hill, a light to the entire world. We have been able to spread that freedom to so many people around the globe. And when other countries and people in places that can't stand up for themselves have been persecuted or in bad situations, we have been able to help them. Okay? We are a light in this world. Is it possible, based on what I'm talking about right now, that evil is trying to overcome us? I think when we're looking at all of this and we think we're fighting against people, or the people who are voting the other way than us, or the people who think this is right and this is wrong, or it's the opposite of what I think. What if we're fighting a bigger war than that? What if this is a fight between good and evil? Does that seem possible? It all has just kind of started to make sense to me since I started to learn about this, and I am by no means an expert. Last night I was looking up some audiobooks that I think I may try and listen to learn more about the whole spiritual warfare thing, but here's what I want you to walk away with. One, if this is something you're unfamiliar with, start to observe and watch and listen and think and decipher if you think this is possible. And two, when this, he's telling me I'm not paying attention, nicer words. When this starts to happen in your life, there is something you can do about it. We can say prayers in Jesus' name that break the attempts of the enemy to wreak havoc on our lives. And I've been doing this in my own life. And y'all, I believe that this stuff works. What I realized here recently was like, I need to be saying these prayers for the country as well, not just in my personal life. I need to be using these spiritual warfare prayers for our country. So you can look up if you want to know more. Just look up spiritual warfare prayers, and you'll get an idea of like how to do this. But very basic from a person who's not very good at this and hasn't really thought it through very well. Something starts to attack your life. Dear God, I pray in Jesus' name that you take the attempts of the enemy to ruin my health or my family or my child's mindset or my mindset or whatever it is, the hope and light that our country offers to this world. I pray that in Jesus' name you break the ties of the enemy on me and my life or our world or our country or whatever it is. That is the most basic idea here. I had talked about spiritual warfare in one of my card-making videos a while back. And the moment I pre-record those videos, and sometimes it's several weeks before they get shared online, the moment I finish that video, the attack on my mind was real. And I knew what was going on. So I knew how to respond with my prayers. But literally, it was either 2 or 3 weeks until that video came out online. And in those 2 or 3 weeks, the spiritual warfare attacks on my mind, my body, our family, our marriage, our kids, they were non-stop. And I think the point was to try to get me not to put that video out there. I handled it how I told you. Like I said, look out more of these prayers, learn more about this. This is real, friends. I don't watch sci-fi. I don't believe in stuff I can't see usually. I don't believe most things in this world unless I can do some research on it. But this, I believe all my heart, this is real, and that's what I got to share with you.